I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. This is the 396th episode of the Political Spotlight. All of a sudden, it felt like I was in an airplane, like my ears depressurized or something like that. That was horrible. I guess they need to pop. I don't know. That was crazy. Bring me some gum. Hey, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's Friday night. We are normally off on Friday night, but we took Tuesday night off because we had some sinus things going on. So we thought that we would pop on and talk with you all on Friday evening. We do good on Fridays on our day off normally. So we hope that you will enjoy this offering. We are thankful that you're here and giving us a little bit of your time, whether you're watching live or via replay. Thank you for being here. If you are watching live, please comment over there. If you're watching via replay in the future, comment down below. But no matter what you do, please hit the like, share the show with everyone you know, and help spread the word, because that is what really makes things go round. Speaking about going round and round and round, that's part of what we're going to be talking about tonight. So we are doing a twofer for you guys this evening. We're going to be talking, first up, we're going to be talking with a Henry County citizen who is upset about the state government, INDOT, Indiana Department of Transportation, deciding that they're going to put some kind of roundabout out in the middle of nowhere. And it doesn't really make a lot of sense. It's taken a lot of property away from private land, and it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So we've been focusing on that bits and pieces here the last couple of days, and so we finally have made contact with the individual, and we're going to have him on. For all of you that are like, wait a minute, I thought Katherine was coming on. Katherine is coming on. She will be joining us at the same time that the gentleman from Henry County, Chris Fadley, is joining us. But we're going to talk with him. And then when that conversation's over, then we will move on to the Madison County debacle and talk about everything going on with that. So it's Friday night. Some of you don't have to get up and go to work tomorrow. I don't know if the others of you do. I'm sorry, but we'll have a nice little chat. So sit back, get you a little drink, a snack, and prepare to listen to what we've got to offer to you. I don't really have any housekeeping issues. Producer Kate is here for the moment. She is here and doing what she does She did return, but might be ducking out a little early, so we'll just monitor what goes on with that. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and bring up. Well, first we'll bring up the special guest, Mr. Chris Faley. Hello, welcome.
Hello.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. And then we're also going to bring up Dr. Katherine Callahan. She's up here on top. So let me see. We'll do this thing. We've not done this in a minute. We'll do this here and get rid of me. We'll put him here. So we'll put him in the big screen and we'll talk with him first. But welcome. Thank you guys for being on with us. And first and foremost, Mr. Faley, Chris, our guest, he's a Henry County resident. You're a farmer? Is that what you do? You're by trade, you're a farmer?
Yep.
And you contacted me, it's been about 2 weeks now, I think, ago, and was talking about a roundabout. See, here in Delaware County, the last couple mayors we've had went roundabout crazy, and they put roundabouts in. Basically, we have roundabouts at the north, south, and the west side of our city going into our county, but they're the small little ones for like cars and just little city traffic. I lived in Europe for a while and was used to the big crazy roundabouts over there. And I think the roundabout that they're trying to talk about putting in down in your neck of the woods is in between those. It's going to be bigger than the ones we have here in the city and smaller than what they've got in Europe. But I guess what they're trying to talk about putting in, they're saying would apparently accommodate semis and farm vehicles. But I think, there are people that have questions about that. But, part of what you were talking about was having issue with how much, private land they were going to have to be taking over and just need for all of this. So I guess before we get into it, if you want to just kind of, talk about how did you get involved with all of this? Like, when did you first become aware of this?
So I think January 18th, they had a meeting, INDOT did, and INDOT did not show up. They sent another company to conduct the meeting, and we thought that we would get some sort of feedback. Nobody from that meeting got any kind of feedback. We had our county commissioners, county surveyor was there, all the neighbors and all that were there, and told them our, concerns about it. And, we didn't really like that idea. And they didn't care. They didn't respond. It was just like it didn't matter. And I've talked to some of the commissioners, and the meetings that they had with INDOT, they pretty much had their minds made up before that meeting ever happened.
Really?
So yeah. And then
okay.
After that, a few months went by, and I don't know how I kind of got concerned that, something was still going on. So I called INDOT, and they was like, yeah, it's still going. And we didn't know, So that's when I kind of got on the bandwagon and thought, well, we got to do something here. We got to have some sort of voice,
Sure.
But, and they've purchased the state's purchased the ground around at the houses. There's one guy that's kind of putting up a fight. And
okay, good for him.
But what they've done to those people in those houses is just ridiculous. I mean, it is right up on their front porches,
Yeah. That even if they're buying the land, that's one of the first things that I noticed and we're going to put up some pictures here in just a moment. I'm in the process of downloading
do you guys
something.
get a tax cut when you do that?
But yeah.
Do they make your land smaller and then you get like something back for it? I'm just trying to see the positives of this.
You tell me the positives. I don't know.
That's just that's crazy to me. And listen, I guess to me, if the government ever comes knocking at my door and says, hey, we want to buy your land, I'm going to tell them where they can stick their money, I guess, depending on how much they're offering. But I hope that the people that got money, I guess good for them. You can do what you want with your property. I hope they got a pretty penny for it. I hope they didn't just get taken on it. But
Well, they were going to force the eminent domain. I mean, that's
Yeah.
what they're doing on the other guy. You know, he's trying to at least get a little bit more money because they only offered him like $3,500. But
Jesus.
you know, it's just
well,
ridiculous. I mean,
I'm glad that he's fighting them and fighting that. So I mean that's good. And I'm glad that you're fighting the fight and doing your thing. Obviously, you were on the news the other day, Fox 59, I believe it was.
I was, yeah.
And so that was a pretty good piece. So, I mean, did in all the meetings that you've been a part of, does anyone telling you like why this is needed?
No. You know, basically, so I've talked to attorneys, I've talked to, state reps, I've talked to everybody.
Yeah.
The attorney says that they're just using it as a speed bump.
Okay.
Well, during the day, it's 55 miles an hour through there anyway. So, I mean, why not drop the speed limit if that's what they're trying to do?
Sure. Yeah. And so for people that are not familiar with where we're talking, obviously, as I said when you came on, you're from Henry County, and the information that we're talking about is for those in the area or that are familiar but maybe don't know specifically. It's State Road 36, which I'm getting ready to pull up a picture here, but it's State Road 36 and Raider Road. It's the intersection that's just west of Shenandoah High School, right?
Yep.
So that's the school there. And I mean, to me, I went to Delta High School in Delaware County, and we had a very similar situation. We were on State Road 28, and then just west of the school was just a county road, and there were accidents there, and they were bad. I mean, I'm 42 or 43, something like that. In the 35 some years that I've been in the area, there have been, a number of fatalities there. When I say a number, I mean 3 or 4, but those are going to happen anywhere. I mean, they do happen anywhere and everywhere. This roundabout's not going to prevent that. That's still going to happen. It's just what happens on a roadway.
Yeah.
But it's not been anything crazy. I think now there's a stop sign there. It's just a stop sign. And that's what we've got. No one's putting a roundabout up there. I just don't know what the roundabout, know what the roundabout's going to accomplish here.
Right. And so supposedly, and I can't find any data, none of the people that I'm working with can find any data that there was a student killed pulling out of the school 20 years ago. Well, we cannot find any data on that. And that's how this all got started, but we can't prove it. And then the other day, one of the INDOT people called after I was on the news, and we didn't call me, but called one of the other people and said that there was a fatality there in 2016. I can't find that either. So the last one that I can think of that was there was 25 years ago when it involved the Swan Man, and there was an older couple that ran the stop sign, and I can't remember if it killed one or both, but I know it killed one.
And and that's a horrible situation. I mean, any fatality is a bad deal, but the
I'm
Swan
not taking anything away from anybody on that. I don't.
Sure.
I'm not. I don't like that. I don't. Want to see anything like that happen.
Sure, so. But I mean, to be truthful with what the situation is, a Swan Man and an elderly couple. That's not a school student, it's not a student, obviously, so, you just have to be truthful with what's going on. And I too, since you've talked to me and the checking I've done, I've heard from a couple people, this is just cut down on the accidents. But then everything I've heard, it's like they're few and far between. It's not as bad as, other locations. And that's the other thing is I have heard a couple people say, well, there was a fatality, in the recent past, and then there was a fatality, apparently the one you're talking about, from 25 years ago. But I'm thinking like, wow, 2. I mean, I don't know that changing all of this up for 2 fatalities 30 years apart really makes sense.
Yeah. And like I said, I can't prove the most recent ones. I can't find it anywhere. And then
sure.
It's just more than me hunting. We've got several.
Sure.
We're trying to come up with as much data as possible.
Absolutely. And so people are familiar, maybe that know the area by sound, but can't really place it. This is Google map of it. Here obviously is Shenandoah High School. Here's US 36, which runs from east to west, and then Raider Road, what's the number road on that?
The number of that road?
Yeah.
It's got to be so the next road down is 700, so it's going to be in that 750 range.
Okay. I couldn't see. So Raider Road here, it's this is where we're talking about, and it's right here, which, as you can see from this area, the other day I looked at this. We'll look here at this. We're standing by what we're looking at here. We're standing basically in the intersection of the road here, and there's looking west, here's looking east. This tree right here is down by the school parking lot. Here's a home which is like wildly crazy close. Every time I've ever driven by this house, I'm like, damn, they are so close to 36 here.
They are. He's actually over the state right away, but that house is so old, he's got them to. And he fought hard to get them to move that roundabout south. He knew about it way before I did.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's interesting, because I mean, like, man, that's just nuts how close. I don't know, can't even imagine what would be here, but if I would hope this would not be my bedroom.
That's his living room.
Jesus, that is so scary just to think of, I'm surprised. That's crazy. But then if you put this roundabout in, you're going to be taking away this part of his land. We'll show you that picture here in a minute.
Oh man,
and then,
it's right up there on his porch.
That's just absolutely crazy. And the thing that I wanted to show was you had sent this picture in that showed, for the people that were like, because I think the other night when I talked about this, somebody asked about, how much traffic is, goes through this area. Well, is it really heavily trafficked? Yada, yada, yada. And you sent this to me. This is a picture.
Right.
And so obviously you see that we're looking at the same thing here. This is the same area, and it's 36 and Raider Road. And then you're saying that these little blue dots, so up here, the one that's to the north, it says 1,692, and then it says 23 in parentheses. Down here on 36 is 4,950, and it says 23. And then the one underneath your name is 689, and it says 24. And so from your understanding, those numbers in parentheses are the years, correct?
Right. And the highest volume was 2023.
Okay, yeah. So the
4950.
4950. And so who was it that you found out that what they say is, in order to like warrant something like this, or for it to be a high volume,
right,
they consider it what?
15,000. And that come from way up in INDOT.
Okay. So that's somebody from INDOT that's kind of way up there. And they're saying
relayed to me. So
okay. And I mean, if you look at this picture, I mean, you're really, even if you combined all of these numbers from these years, you're not close to 15.
Right. You can combine them and double them, and it's still less than 15,000, so, right. I just can't understand how this even come about. I just don't understand. And It's a lot of money. and from what I have gathered from some of our state people, that is on the really, really low side. I mean, 2.27 million is not even going to come close.
Yeah. Yeah. And let's see here.
Just wait till you get about 10 of them.
Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah. Right.
Now,
right.
Don't mind it that you got potholes all over your county and bridges falling apart.
Right.
But you got a roundabout.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah.
And then you can't get a tractor around it.
So
that's my worry.
Then a semi takes out the middle of it.
Right.
I mean, we got a whole mess going on over that in Pendleton with the same. I don't know if you've been watching it, but it's a whole mess in Pendleton. They can't get the school buses around them. They can't get the tractors around them. They can't get the semis around them. I mean,
so Katherine, in Pendleton, they've already put the roundabout in?
Well, they've got a couple in, and they can't get the school buses around it. So this is becoming quite disturbing. And now they've got another one going in, and I think it was in the paper yesterday. I'll have to find the article and send it to you. And that's a whole nother crap show.
Yeah. So
because nobody seems to want to listen to the director of transportation at the schools. I mean, she's only a little bit important.
So
you know what I'm saying.
So the one, I'll get to that in a second here. So the one in Pendleton that the school buses aren't going around, is that out in the county as well? Then is that like a county area? Would you say?
Or is in Pendleton?
Yeah.
Well, there's one. No, they're like coming right off the interstate over there.
Okay, right. But so I guess what I'm getting at,
and then there are some ones out in the county that on the country roads that are bad too.
Because what they're saying, what I heard from your news piece was they're saying, well, this would be big enough for the semis and the buses and the
and I'm not sure where these engineers have gone to school, because they say that and then they come out and it doesn't work.
Right.
Well, this isn't just a little bit of a screw up. This is a big screw up. But like look in California, like they were dumping all that money into that train thing, and I mean, how many years has it been? And they've never gotten anywhere, right? I mean, so hopefully you'll keep these people honest, and you'll maybe, and again, I don't know. I mean, you're a farmer, so I'm going to label you, okay, not as a derogatory, but that you're a blue collar worker to some people, right?
Right.
And unfortunately, we really need to listen to our blue collar workers, because their life experience has got nothing on 5,000 initials. I'm just telling you right now, because without them, we cannot function.
Yes, and so, that's true.
Perhaps if they took some time to listen, and maybe he'll even give them a ride in the tractor. I mean, some people need you to draw them a picture.
Yes.
Some people need a physical, let me lead you by the nose, right? That's great what looks like on paper. You've got some pretty pictures there, maybe add some color. But now let's get in the tractor.
Yeah.
Let's get those engines going, and let's go see how this actually works. And people just don't pay attention.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what we've learned is that elected officials are going to sell you anything they can to pull on your heartstrings, so that you guys will all go, okay, well, we're all just stupid and can't read.
Yeah.
And if you said all these things happened because evidently you think that in this day and age we can't research things, we're just going to follow what you're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, I can't find anything that shows any history. Well, it's got to be in an archived newspaper. I mean, if you Google it or something, it's got to come up. If there was an accident at some point, it was reported.
Right.
Even though it's 20 or 30 years ago, you should be able to find this stuff.
Yeah.
Right. We can't find,
and that's the sad part to all of this, is just the lack of consideration that while the idea seems great, is it actually functionable? Is it actually usable? And this is going to actually benefit us taxpayers.
Yeah.
Well, what were you going to say there, sir?
I was going to say, like, so like when my semis can go places that my planner can't.
Sure.
It is so hard to get around with that planner.
Yeah.
And, people from INDOT don't care. I mean, they don't care.
Yeah. Right.
They don't know for another, what it is, what it's like to drive one of those things around and try to maneuver around curves and corners and roundabouts, I guess. And, it's just, sometimes it's just almost impossible. And then you got to fight traffic while you're doing all that. It's not easy sometimes,
Sure.
I mean,
So let me ask you this. Will they be signing a waiver for you that says if you take out half of that roundabout with one of your semis or your tractors, that you're not held liable?
Yeah.
Listen, I gave you guys warnings in advance.
I tried to tell them. I don't know.
I'm just saying.
I don't think so.
Now, this is the first time you're meeting me, and I know I'm a little overwhelming.
Yeah.
So
just
you're good. You're good. But once that thing is in, you're done.
Yeah. Yeah.
The trial's over. It's in there.
Yeah.
And, it's a done deal.
And that's what sucks is it's not even once it's in. It's like once they start putting flags in the ground, it's like, it gets to a scary point, and it really needs to be stopped before then.
Go tie a tractor to the middle of the intersection.
Right.
This is a big deal. And I will just tell you, I fought the LKQ project out in LaPel when they wanted to bring a junkyard in, take up all this farmland, and then it was going to bother our aquifers and stuff. I mean, it gets real, and you guys just have to get out there in numbers and fill the town hall, standing room only,
And that's the bad thing is INDOT kind of just slips it through there, and
because nobody's paying attention.
Yeah.
Right. So, there was people that didn't have a clue. And before I was on the news, what was even going on there.
Yeah.
And you think your elected officials are supposed to be keeping you informed, fighting for what you want, being the voice that you voted them in to be, and then you find out they sell you out.
Yeah.
Well, and so what it sounds like, and you tell me if I'm right or wrong, but at least it sounds like at the local level, the officials in Henry County were not in favor of this. Is that
Nope.
okay? Yeah.
None of our commissioners were in favor at all. They were at the meeting voicing their concerns along with us.
And it sounds like something that the states just came in. And the other thing, now I want to tell you before it gets too far gone in the comments, Kif76 said that if you haven't looked into the PUD, which I deal with a lot of elected officials and they're all PUDs. So, but this is the planned unit development. I don't know if you've heard of that or not, but maybe that's something that we can look into and see how that connects here. And that might be something of interest. And then the other thing was Carrie McFadden said, speaking to you directly, that if you call INDOT, ask for JD Brooks. Don't know if you have or know who that is. He is from Anderson, but high up the chain, and he will at least talk to you. So you might want to write that down, JD Brooks.
I got it.
And maybe that's somebody. And, that's what's sad is talking to you before we went live. You said that, you've reached out to your state representative, which in the area is District 54. That's Corey Criswell. Corey took your call, and Corey was really responsive. And right. That's everything that I know of Corey. I figured he would be, and that Corey's went to bat for you, but that really you were having a hard time getting a hold of anybody from INDOT. No one was returning calls. You've called all of these state officials, all these federal officials, because there's federal money tied up with this too. And basically no one's either really talking to you or listening. But then after you were on the news, then INDOT calls you.
Yeah. It's weird.
And it's amazing. Right.
Did you tell the truth? Because people don't like that.
Yeah.
They don't want to hear the truth.
Yeah.
So I just want you to know you're in good company tonight.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We got double here, so we're good.
Yeah, right. That's exactly right. Brenda Greider said, ask you if, and maybe you don't know, but the gentleman in the house, has he talked to an attorney about them putting it that close to the front of his house? I would think it would have to be so many feet from his property.
So I have talked to several attorneys, and they say, and I get tired of hearing this, you can't fight the state. And I'm tired of hearing that.
Yeah.
This is our state, our tax money. I mean, why do we not have a say so? I
Yeah.
just don't understand, you know?
Right.
Because if you don't voice it, you don't have a say so.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah.
you have to voice
Exactly
it.
right. Yeah.
Jackie's asking, are there any additional meetings scheduled for the proposed roundabout?
Nope. We got one meeting and that was it.
That's
And no
nuts.
follow-ups. No feedback whatsoever. Not even, hey, your opinions don't matter. We're putting it in anyway. I mean,
Have you gone and searched the archives on public notices? There's a page and see how many public notices were posted for this.
I can look for that and
But
get
do you
that
see what I'm
information
saying? They
back
could
to
be
them,
a
yeah.
violation that if they didn't put these in public notices.
Yeah.
I'm
they've gotta-
sure they've played. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
At that level, they've got, I mean, they're not as, while there are lots of hokey people at
They're
the
not as
state
corrupt
level,
as Madison County. Is that what you're saying?
they're not as hokey as the local folks. So they tend to have the people in the places that get paid the big bucks just to do these things, so they're in compliance, which kind of sucks. But Kif 76 again said, ask your county commissioners, surveyor, roads, or transportation department in this county. They have the plans. So the thing is, like this person said, is, you normally don't see this kind of money spent unless they have some kind of plans for that area, which it's really strange because it's not really close to. Yeah, right. Yeah. So you guys, somebody has created a Facebook page that has a lot of good information, and there's information if people want to take a look at that and see. It's on Facebook. It's called Stop Raider Road /State Road 36 Roundabout Construction. It's on Facebook. There's a lot of good information. Hopefully they'll put this video up so people can see it. They put up the Fox 59 story on it, and there's a lot of good information on this. So, and forgive me if you've said this. I want to make sure that I get this if you haven't. But when is this supposed to start?
I think this summer. I mean, right now they're moving utilities. So we don't have much time.
That's crazy. That's absolutely.
I'm going to give you some advice. Not that you have a lot of money.
I'm listening.
There's a gentleman by the name of Russ Kate. He's an attorney.
Yeah.
He's out of Fishers. And the whole LKQ project had already made it all the way to the BZA. And Russ Kate said to me, Catherine, this can be a long shot, but we can try. So Russ and I worked very quickly. Like, I got it to him like on a Wednesday, and they were going to hear this like within 10 days.
Yeah.
And so I did a lot of legwork. I had a lot of people helping me do the legwork. Got this all to Russ Kate. He's a great attorney in Fishers. He came in, and not only was he able to get all this stopped within 60 days, we won 5-0 against the BZA. No one voted for LKQ. That's what a phenomenal job he did. And he probably will tell you this will be a long shot. Mm-hmm. It takes a lot of money. I will tell you that. It's unfortunate. But this is where, you can start a page or something and start putting money towards the legal fees to help. Maybe other people will get involved. Yeah. But I'm not going to kid you. It cost me $40,000 of my own money. Now, I could have turned around and sued Lapel and made them pay because they had all these violations. But to me, it wasn't about doing that. It was about doing what was right and saving the water for the people. And so I let it go. Now, my name has been mud ever since that in a town in which I own a medical practice. But for those dozen or so people that hate me because they got called out on their nepotism, there's 2,000 other people in that town that love me for saving the water.
Yeah, right.
So you just have to decide at what length you're willing to go. But, he's worth giving a call to on Monday morning, running it by him. And he's a straight shooter. I mean, he point blank told me, I don't know that we can win this, but we can try. We might be able to reset the clock.
Yeah.
But I don't know about, and this is when we found out, like, we're here in Lapel and they're posting their public notice up in Elwood. Nobody's reading the Elwood Times down here in Lapel. I mean, so and that was the other problem. So then the elected officials were upset because I'm pointing out, like, it's all about doing things to feed their own pockets and their own mouths. And, you're worried about 5 people in this town when I'm worrying about 2,000 that could potentially get sick.
Yeah.
So that's the thing is how bad do you want to fight this? And I'm the kind of person where you either have to put up or you need to shut up.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
and I'm not saying anybody's got that kind of money laying around. I don't have that kind of money laying around. Right.
Right.
But my patients deserved better.
Right.
Right. And so when I looked at 2,000 people, I'm thinking, well, you know what? If I gave each person $200 and that, I guess, was my donation to the town.
Yeah, right.
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's how I did it. Believe me, I wanted to turn around, but, I would have probably bankrupted the town, and that wasn't my goal. My goal was to keep the people safe and still have a good community.
You fought for what you believed in.
Yeah.
So,
and that's what you got to do. Like I said, before
it's sad when you have to sue your elected officials to do the right thing.
I always just say, like, I never heard in civics class growing up that, in order to participate in local or state government, that you needed to bring an attorney along with you. Mm-hmm. And it's so sad that, like, that seems to be the case in most of these situations. Jackie,
and I will tell you, when they say you can't sue City Hall, you can't sue a town, and you can't win, you can.
Oh yeah,
but it takes a lot of stamina, a lot of energy, and a lot of fight.
Yeah,
that's exactly what they tell me about the state.
Yeah, you can't fight the state. That's bullshit. You can.
You can. You just got to have the right attorneys willing to go toe to toe.
That you got to have the right people in line. You got to have the The Jackie asked here if was the project at any point, and I think you said to your knowledge there was just the one meeting, but this never came up in any local or state zoning commissions, or like they never discussed this period anywhere like that?
Not public that I know of.
That is so strange.
That's why you need to run and see if they posted it anywhere.
Yeah.
And that might be your loophole. And I'm like, Chris, the chances of that are very slim.
Yeah.
But, there are Hail Marys all the time.
I will look that up. I'll look that up this weekend. I'll look and see what I can find, and I can let you know about that. I will look and see what I can find with that, but I mean, I guess without trying to ruin all of your evening, before we let you go, is there anything else? I mean, basically, where are you at? Where are you at now? I mean, you're just still in the process of trying to make as much noise as possible.
Yeah, still just fighting right now. I mean, I make my phone calls and all that.
Listen, you send me your webpage, and okay. I will get it.
I'll post it. I'll share it to you.
Okay.
I
will say one thing. Everybody's talked about a stoplight, and that's a lot cheaper than $2.27 million. But the state is totally against that. So
because it's not their money, it's our money.
Yeah, right.
So they're like spend, right?
Yeah.
Right. But they say that you got to meet 8 points of criteria, but we don't know what that is. So I'm sure
for what, a stoplight?
Yeah. And I'm sure one of them is volume of traffic, and I'm sure we don't meet that. So.
But I don't understand.
Well, that's the same for a roundabout.
Yeah, if you don't meet the volume of traffic for a stoplight, I don't understand how you meet the volume of traffic for a roundabout.
I don't know how this got started. I wish somebody could tell me. I mean, I don't know how it got looked at by the state. I don't know. I don't understand. But
how it got started, we'll look into that too. How? Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. So we'll take a look at that.
I will say another thing.
Yeah.
The wide loads that come down through here are never going to go through that roundabout. Well, they're not just wide loads; they're lengthy loads, so they'll never make it through that roundabout. So I don't know whether their plan is to reroute it, but they told me that they didn't even know that was a wide load route, but it sure is.
That is wild. That who like someone from INDOT said that?
Yes.
That's crazy to me, that knowing where that's at and just having kind of a look around and understanding where you're at in the state, and for them to not know that is that's wild.
Pretty crazy, right?
That is really, really, really crazy to me. And so, well, is there anything that we haven't covered, or anything that you would like to say before we roll?
I don't think so, but I appreciate you letting me on here and talking and getting us some
absolutely
and a voice.
And I'll tell you what I'm going to do. So, and this will be out of there, but this is obviously a live program, and we're going to talk about other stuff. But once I'm off of here, I'm going to cut this down just to where it'll be the 40 some minutes of us talking about this, and make it just a short little clip. So you guys can put out there and share wherever you want, whatever you can do with it. That's great. But we'll help you however. You're welcome back here anytime. Would love to help you however we can, whatever we can do. Please stay in contact with me, and we'll help you out. And without divulging your partners in crime around there, I wish you both well, and tell everyone there I said hello, and good talking to you guys. You're welcome back here anytime, and we'll do what we can to help you.
Thank you both.
All right. Yeah. Thank you very much, sir. Yep. Have a good rest of your evening.
You too. Thank you.
Bye. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Mr. Chris Fadley, and he is a citizen from
Henry County.
Henry County, trying to get the right counties there, trying to deal with all that. And he's been fighting the craziness with the.
Does he have any elected officials willing to go to bat for him?
Yeah, I think they are. So he reached out to Corey Criswell, who's a state representative from District 54, and Corey Criswell.
What senator represents his area?
Jeff Rotz, who's kind of like, wah, but he did reach out to Rotz from my understanding, and he reached out to Criswell. Criswell did have a meeting with INDOT, and he told I think they had a meeting, and he contacted him, and he just said, hey, the meeting went well. And he was like, okay, but it's like still going.
Well, if I had some advice for him, I'd be putting them all on blast.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
that's right, Madison County. Tonight, we are going to put Linda Smith on blast. We're going to show you what a corrupt elected clerk and her deputy clerk have to show to everybody. And maybe if Mr. Fadley's watching, he'll say, these are some good ideas.
So remind everybody, obviously people watching know who Linda Smith is. That's the clerk of Madison County. But
where you say elections have consequences.
Yeah. Remind everybody who the chief deputy clerk is.
So the chief deputy clerk is Heather Bailey. Heather Bailey's frequent answer to everybody is, I'm new at this. There's a lot to read. We actually learn every time someone files a complaint. Well, then we have to research your complaint. Well, I don't know. You people are taking months to research my complaints. So I kind of want to bring everybody up to speed here. Everybody in Madison County is fully aware that we've got a reorganization leadership meeting coming March 1 where there might be hope. I believe there's hope that we're going to have a new reorganization and get rid of the cabal here in Madison County. So as many of you know, I do a lot of research before I light everybody up in lights on social media. So this past weekend, I began to go back and research our precinct committeeman because, Russ doesn't want to come off the precinct committeeman list. He doesn't want to give people. Some people will, just take things at face value, but I like to research it.
Yeah.
So I emailed Linda Smith over the weekend on a Saturday. I understand she doesn't work on a Saturday, but Katherine works 7 days a week, 20 hours a day. And so I sent her and I said, Linda, I said, can you tell me where the primary results are for Madison County? And I don't know if you can bring up the web link. So if you go to Madison County's election page results.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Is this something you want me to go from?
Yeah. Just
online or something that you've shared?
Online.
Okay.
So you go to Madison County, and you look up the election results. Let me tell you what I've noticed. Now, at first, I was beginning to think that Linda was lazy. And then I got to think that Linda's just not very bright. And then I came to the conclusion, after the numerous email exchanges, that she's part of the cabal.
Right.
And I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. So this is the 2024, 2023, and 22 election. Linda came into here and her first election was the 2023. If you click on the 2023, when you look there, did you click on it?
Yeah. I think it takes us to another page. I'll have to click over here. Yeah, hold on. So now I click over here. This will pull up in a second and it'll give us what we need.
There's no primary in this one either. So it'll only be the general election. Well, why doesn't it have the primary? Rebecca Crooms ran. They said she lost, but did she really lose? It's like all of a sudden. So this one is just the general election.
So
okay?
yeah, so it doesn't even give you. So you click on the link and it doesn't give you an option. It doesn't give you. So like when you click on this for Marion County, or when you click on this for Delaware County, or you click on this for any of the other counties or any place I've known, you click on 2023 election results, and it normally will give you two other links, a link for the primary and a link for the general. But this, when you click on that link, it just opens up. Here's the general election. So
here, and this becomes a problem, people. This is a big one. So I don't know if, so I just sent you one, what these look like, and maybe we can go through those. And so then people will have a clear, and I made sure I had the Madison County seal on there so everybody could see that Katherine didn't Photoshop anything or do anything she wasn't supposed to be doing.
No.
Right. So, this is what should be in there. We should be able to see what our numbers brought out. We should be able to show what everybody's able to do. So did you get those in Messenger?
Like this?
So here, this is 2020. This is what's up right now. This was last night after midnight. I literally was doing this last night to make sure what they were doing. So here you can see that they've got the primary results here. In 2020, Olivia Pratt was the clerk.
Mm-hmm.
Then you go to the next one.
Yeah, it shows you 2020 final presidential primary.
Yeah.
2020 official presidential general.
Mm-hmm.
2020 official presidential general again. And then again, I mean, they just keep, they've got it basically duplicate.
Yeah. So then you turn that. So you got the primary on there. And then I sent you the other. So here's 2022 where Pratt's still the elected clerk.
Yep.
And then you got the primaries in there and the generals. And
yep.
Then you flip to the next page. Then you begin to see the cabal take over. Oh,
ooh, look.
We only give you the final results. To the election.
2023 official final results, municipal.
And then we come to
And then we come to
2024.
where we've
Now,
got.
what's so important about 2024, people? In 2024, this is when the Republicans ran all those PCs.
Yeah.
Isn't it important for us to know that elected officials, who won, who didn't win?
Yeah.
Why is that important? It's important because when you get on there and you begin to look at like Evan McMullen, who lost to Devin Norrick, well, suddenly he's been appointed to a seat. When you see Amanda Bergfield on there, who lost in Stony Creek 3, oh, you see her appointed to somewhere in the county. You see all these people who lost the PC seats that were part of the cabal, and then they were appointed elsewhere, like, because we had 10 seats that nobody ran for, right? So they're appointed over there. Why?
Yeah.
Because this is how they keep the grip. And you know what? The cabal doesn't want their people exposed. This is why roundabouts come. This is why you see things going in illegally. This is why you see the farmers losing their farmland and people are just taking things from them. These elections have real consequences. It's going on in every county. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Right? But I want you people to see. Now this gets better. Okay. So now everybody kind of has an idea. You would have been upset yourself if you were looking at this and said, what do you mean the election results aren't? So down in the overlay, I have the chain that begins. Now here's the thing. We pay the clerk about $67,000 a year. Okay.
Yeah.
So I send the message to the clerk. I can't seem to find the primary results online. Can you assist? I have found the general election. Now, the last time I looked, I thought that elected officials were here to serve the people. Right? That's what I thought. Silly me. I thought our tax dollars. Well, and here's the thing, people. These people volunteered to represent us. If they don't like it,
nobody's put a gun to their head and made
quit.
them. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's simple.
I'm sure this Mr. Family may be happy to fill somebody's position now because of the level of incompetence he has encountered. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you people can't do your job, there's nowhere else to put it but then quit and resign and let the people take over.
Yeah. I don't see that as a loser. If I would respect, you know how much I would respect Linda if she said, you know what, I can't do this, I'm going to step down. That to me would be the first action that she would have done. Or if Shannon Henry from the Delaware County commissioners would step down and say, look, I can't handle any more of the pressure. I'm just tired of the bullshit. Whatever. I would be like, you know what? I really respect that. Thank you. That's an act of service. I could actually get behind that.
It's not that they can't handle it. They're all part of all this corruption. I mean, they're all feeding into this. And I'm going to tell you something right now. This is my prediction with my crystal ball.
Mm-hmm.
When Lisa Rinker wins, they're all going to throw each other under the bus in Madison County.
Yeah.
Because now they're all going to be fighting for their own life. This is why they don't want the primary results up on the board.
Now, if you truly
right?
I won't
so
ask.
Let's go to the next message.
If somebody wants the primary results, all they would have to do is go back to the political spotlight show from May, because we put them up. So they are there somewhere. But okay, next message.
So the next response comes from Heather Bailey.
Oh, Heather Bailey. She's so helpful and nice and fun and friendly.
Right? She doesn't really know what she's doing. She's just so new to this. Well, she doesn't understand where we're going wrong. I'm a little bit over it, Heather.
Read this.
So I know you're watching, and this is exactly how I feel at this point.
Let's read this so we can get a full understanding of what she's saying. Good morning, Katherine. Please fill out the record request form that is attached with specific information as to which primary election results you are wanting and what type of results you are seeking as well. Are you wanting summary results, precinct by precinct results, or both? And I will get that sent right over to you.
Now,
first
go
of
back to
all,
my first message. What was my first message?
yeah, I can't seem to find the primary results online. Can you assist? I have found the general election.
So, okay, I didn't put the year there. Why doesn't she just go and look at the site and say, oh, look, they're missing in 23 and 24?
Yeah, put them all up on the sign. I don't need you to give me anything as a record request. Put them up on the website where they belong. That's what we're requesting. But furthermore, and I hope Heather is listening, because I've played their games with their stupid form long enough. Luke Britt, the public access counselor, and the law, I know you guys have a hard time with that in Madison County, but as Pee Wee Herman says it, the law. Okay, listen, the law says I can write to you a record request on a piece of toilet paper, and you must fulfill the request. So that old lady with the hair and the perfume, and Linda and anybody else in there can stick that request up your backsides, because from now on, I will not send it out. You can deny me, and then we will fight it out, because I'm tired of doing extra work for you guys to just delay it a little bit longer.
So they're saying Luke Britt gave his resignation. I don't blame him.
Wait. When?
I don't know.
Hold on, stand by. We got to find that.
So, Kate, can you flip the page while
hold on? I can
do
that.
Next picture while Chris is looking for Luke. So then I respond. Now, by now, you guys, it's February 18th. This started days ago.
Oh God! Wait! This is important. Hold on. We got.
Is this breaking news?
Yeah. Well, no, not really, because it's been out. It happened a day ago, but we've not covered this here, and this is. I got to tell you, I have dealt with Luke Britt for a very, very long time, and I'll tell you.
He's not a bad guy.
Luke, I consider Luke a friend. I've always been friendly with Luke, but in the last couple of years, he really kind of, I think he just got sick of it.
He has no support.
Yeah. Well, there's no real teeth to his, hold on here. Luke Britt. There's no teeth to what he's doing. And they in 2022, Senator Aaron Freeman, who hated Luke Britt, really went to battle and stripped him of even more power. And in the last year, Luke's just been totally done with it. So it's not breaking news because it's been out since yesterday, but it's obviously breaking here. Oh, son of a! Right, here we go. Okay. All right, Indiana Public. Whoops, get rid of that. Indiana's public records, I don't know why it says that. Public records access counselor steps down as new law shapes office future. Luke Britt, Indiana's longest serving public access counselor, is stepping down after 12 years in the role following changes to his office by state lawmakers this time last year. So this is what he's stepping down over. Exactly. The Office of the Public Access Counselor, created by the Indiana General Assembly in 1999, provides guidance on the state's public records and open meeting laws. The counselor writes advisory opinions that interpret these laws after members of the public or agencies file a complaint related to the public records law. Britt estimates that he wrote more than 2,000 advisory opinions in his tenure, and like 100 or 1,760 of those are for me. He was appointed in 2013 by former Governor Mike Pence and reappointed by former Governor Eric Holcomb. Britt's resignation follows a legislative decision that altered how his office operates. A Republican lawmaker, and it doesn't name him here, I don't think, but I want to be very clear. Republican lawmaker Aaron Freeman, who I do not care for, okay, introduced an amendment in 2024 House bill. What's that noise? Limiting the office ability to interpret the law broadly. The amendment mandated a strict textual interpretation, shifting away from the long-standing approach of construing the law in favor of government transparency. Indiana's Handbook of Public Access Law states, when confronted with a question of interpretation, the law should be liberally construed in favor of openness. But listen to me, folks. The Indiana General Assembly said, no, we don't want that. We don't want it to be construed in favor of openness. We want to tighten it down. To hell with that. Britt said the legislative change made his job fundamentally different. Ultimately, the job did fundamentally change, Britt told WFYI. I'd always said that if I found that my voice was getting ineffective, it was time to leave, and that might have been my sign with the legislation. During his tenure, Britt issued advisory opinions on public records disputes, executive session violations, and excessive fees for records. In 2022 and 2023, his office handled 556 formal complaints, issued 150 written opinions, and fielded 10,000 inquiries from the public, media, government agencies, according to the office annual report. Britt also annually conducted dozens of training sessions in the state's Open Door and Records Act. Advisory opinions. Britt's advisory opinions often assisted the media in gaining access to public documents and held public agencies accountable for violating the state's open door law. While the office cannot enforce compliance, individuals can sue an agency to compel adherence to and use these opinions as supporting evidence in court. There were times where we could work together and kind of serve each other as a sounding board, said Steve Key, retired executive director of Hoosier State Press Association. If there was a kind of a gray area in the statute, I could always ask him what his thoughts were and see if they aligned with my thoughts. And there were times that he would use me as a resource. Key said that they had a collegial relationship, and he appreciated Britt's consistency in the job. In 2018, WTHR Channel 13 sued Hamilton Southeastern Schools for details on why coach was suspended after Britt's advisory opinion said the district failed to provide information required by law to a reporter. Britt's advisory opinion in 2020 found Purdue University violated the state's public record law when it heavily redacted documents requested by student journalists at the Exponent, including a university settlement with a former student related to an alleged sexual assault. It's only as strong as the public's will to make sure that it's enforced, Key said. It's the public that has to, if they don't think there's been a good decision or that the opinion is incorrect, and they still have the right to that document or to go attend that meeting. They're the ones that have to go to the courts and say, we think we have this right. In 2021, Britt issued an advisory opinion that the Indiana Department of Education should provide WFYI with data on the arrest of students on school property because that information is public record. No shit. Britt also issued advisory opinions involving Hamilton East Public Library System in 2023, including a meeting where two board members met their attorneys at Fisher's Coffee Shop. Not good. He found they violated the open door law. Britt did not always side with the media. Indianapolis Star asked county hospitals how it spends its public funds on nursing homes. 8 hospitals refused to provide these documents and claimed the information contained trade secrets and competitive information. Britt sided with the hospitals. Then Indy Star sued the hospitals for the information. I have to tell powerful people they're wrong all the time, and I've always thought I've done it diplomatically and with delicacy and appropriately. But some people just don't like to hear that, meaning Aaron Freeman. new role in 2024 law wasn't the sole reason for Britt's departure, but he took it as a nudge that the office could be ready for a new voice. I'll be honest, no one gave me this impression or anything like that, Britt said, but it was natural for me to just be looking over my shoulder for the last year thinking, oh, when's the other shoe going to drop? Next month, Britt starts as general counsel and public information officer for Marion County Courts. That's weird. There he plans to use his legal skill set, but get back to some of his roots, he said. Britt looks forward to working with a team again. I've kind of been on an island for 12 years, and it's kind of my own. It'll be nice to be part of a team again, Britt said. Britt said Governor Mike Braun, who will ultimately choose his successor, and his team were easy to work with, and the counselor's office remains fully funded in Braun and House Republicans' respective budgets. Braun's office did not respond to a request for comment before the story was published. Britt said the office is primed for the next counselor who is appointed. He hopes the person will listen to the people like he tried to do. Sometimes it's almost like I'm a public access therapist. And so folks will call me, and my job is to kind of just shut up and listen, Britt said. That listening piece is going to be crucial. If asked, that's what I'll say to my successor. And Britt will continue to carry the office mission through all he does, he said. Over the years, I've bought into the mission and the concepts of government transparency. I will stress forever, as long as I have a voice at the table, that good government starts with transparency and being accountable to taxpayers. Britt said, mileage varies when I'm talking to politicians about that, but some have similar buy-in. I really do think that you're never going to please everybody, never going to make the decision across the board that everybody's going to be pleased with, but don't let them attack the process. That's the value and fidelity to the process. So this is big news, and I hate to hear this. So
let me just tell you people something. Luke Britt's done a phenomenal job, because when he was hired in 2013, he was making $70K, got himself all the way up to $125K. Pretty good.
yeah. You got to do it. All right. So back to your emails. That's pretty crazy. News that we just,
and I just want you to know, everybody, that Heather Bailey makes over 50 grand to sit around.
Yeah.
Put a sign on the door that says you're no longer allowed to come in the room anymore. You have to talk to her out in the hallway, which has got to be some type of violation, because there's no privacy at all for a person to file a complaint. So what that does is put more pressure on people to stay away, because you have nowhere to go up there. You got to make your complaint out in the middle of the hallway. So ludicrous. Heather responds with, so I respond to Heather, because clearly Linda Smith can't respond for herself. She might break a fingernail. I don't know, but here we are. So I'm just doing all this and reading for you because Linda Smith says I can't read. Why am I filling out a records request that should be open and published on the web page? Why aren't the primary results posted for 2024? Katherine.
Now, I got to be honest. I read all these as you sent them to me, but I have not seen this next follow-up. So I'm nervous to see what this response is. I'm excited. And here was Heather's response. Katherine will play the part of Katherine, and I will play the part of Heather Bailey. Good afternoon, Katherine. I will gladly send over the records that you are requesting after you fill out the form specifying what it is that you are wanting. Thank you, Heather Bailey. And I feel like,
I thought I was clear.
Is she having a meltdown?
No.
Did she have a stroke?
Now everybody gets to see the real Heather Bailey. She knows exactly what she's doing. So she works for Linda Smith. She does not work for the people. She does not work for transparency. So as long as everybody is clear, there you go. Well, look at that. Carrie McFadden says Heather Bailey used to work for the Herald Bulletin at one time. Well, now we all get to see that. Now, while this is important, I want to show some of you how I get down these rabbit holes. Okay. let's see. What's Karen say? Why people say powerful people when speaking about corrupt public servants. Truth holds the power, not lies. Just an FYI. Well, Karen, I'll tell you, when you speak the truth, you often become the most hunted person in Madison County. They don't want the truth to be spoken, and they certainly don't want it spoken by me. And so I think you guys are going to find more and more shenanigans coming out of this clerk's office in the days to come.
Hunted? Come on, you're not hunted.
Well, I wouldn't be so sure about that. So when you look at the responses you're getting, this is why people give up. This is why, because they just wear you down.
Yes.
It's a constant wear down. There's no reason why those reports shouldn't be published. The only reason why they don't want them published is because they don't want you to know who their minions are, what districts those people were living in that did not get elected by their people. So let me ask you people something. If the majority of people don't want you in your own little small area, then why are they putting somebody across town or across the county in another area? I mean, the biggest thing that we've learned to live with is allegedly Kelly Willis, Russ Willis's daughter, was living in this house in Madison County. But allegedly, she got married and moved out of the county. But allegedly, she voted in Madison County. I just don't understand why the election board hasn't looked into Kelly Willis when people have actually brought documentation. Maybe her marriage certificate shows she moved. Maybe her driver's license reflects the fact that she didn't move when her marriage license moved. I mean, I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe she didn't move with her husband for some odd reason. But according to her Facebook page, it looks like she did. But that doesn't get investigated. Or perhaps we should talk about Russ Willis, who's made election crimes, and he doesn't get investigated. And when he does and he's found guilty, he has no consequences.
Well,
it's very odd.
Real quick. So I'm confused. I mean, let's real quick go back to what you just said about Russ's daughter. So she worked or works in voters registration. Is that correct?
She no longer works in here's the whole thing. She no longer, and people, this is what you need to be asking. Where is all of our money going? And why are all these elected officials allowed to pull all these shenanigans? And then they want to try to see whatever they can do to go after anybody who remotely speaks out against them. So allegedly, Kelly Willis used to work that's not allegedly, that's the truth. She used to work in the assessor's office for Larry Davis. So that is a true statement, people. Like, you can go to the Gateway. You'll see she was employed for several years. Then somehow, now this one's allegedly, she went on disability. The county pays that.
Okay.
That's allegedly.
Okay.
Then what happens is her dad brings her back and puts her in voter registration while she's on disability from the county, which I don't even understand that.
Okay.
So then,
and look, and it's okay to work in the assessor's office or voters registration for Madison County and live in another county. That's perfectly fine.
Are you supposed to be on disability by the county, but then be employed by the county?
Oh, that's
I'm
weird.
very confused.
I don't know.
I'm not an attorney, so I don't know.
That's weirdness, but that seems odd.
So if anybody could prove that she's on disability.
Yeah. And
because we can prove she was employed because the county has reported that, yes, she was in voter registration. Sure. She was at the assessor's office. So it's very confusing, right?
But what you can't do is you can't live in one county and vote in another.
Correct.
That you can't do. So my question to you is, is anybody outside of like us? Is anybody looking into this? Is like the election board looking into this? Is like the Madison County Sheriff's Department, Anderson?
Well, so you
Anderson Police
file these
Department,
things, right?
Indiana State
I mean,
Police, or
Ben
anybody
Gale's a
looking into
perfect
this?
example. You file this stuff,
Yeah.
right? And then nobody does anything. Look at Russ Willis. You file that violations are taking place. Oh, well, he can just make up those 5 years and he can just pull them out his rear end. And even though he says he doesn't have any of those, we're going to accept those and it's all going to be good. This is corruption, people. This is beyond corruption.
Yeah.
This is abuse.
I mean, I look, I don't know what I was talking about. I guess maybe like Anderson or Madison County State Police, they probably wouldn't investigate stuff like that. I don't know. All right. Anyways, so okay, back to what you were talking about. I'm caught up. I'm caught up.
So this is what I'm talking about. The reason why they've taken down these primary results is they don't want Lisa Rinker to win. They don't want Dr. Ackerman to win. That's exactly who we need to win in order to start to get some transparency, in order to get some order back in this county. Madison County, and I don't care what you say, we're in Delaware County, we are the most corrupt. You've at least had the FBI come in, right? We've never even had that. You know, you go to these meetings and you say, we want federal oversight on our elections. You got Senator Gaskell who trips over himself and it's like, whoa, wait a minute here. We don't want that because we never want to relinquish the power we have in our community, which is true. You really do want to keep the power close to the people in the community because we're the most vested in our community, right? We really are.
Oh, yeah.
Right? But when you have this level of corruption, you got to have something because this isn't working.
Yeah.
And that's what becomes the whole big problem with all of this is they don't want you to see this. Well, I want to show you guys a couple things. So, Chris, I just sent you a messenger, the primary list. So don't worry, people. We have the primary list for you. And here's the thing. Everybody who's watching here tonight, you will not be receiving a records release form for me to show them to you. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to show them to you willingly. That's what transparency is.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's just no other way I can explain to the people. And you know, where does this stop? Where does this ever stop for Madison County if we don't get a new leadership organization in place? We must get it done.
And that's the thing. It needs to be at like all levels, right? So like you know, one
the
of the
entire
things,
cabal has to go.
Yeah.
Connie Gardner has to go. Rob Steele has to go. Kelly Hewer has to go, and thank God Russ Willis has got to go.
Yeah.
You know, they are not even telling you who's running with them. Kelly Hewer and Rick Gardner are clearly not running together. Listen, the latest with Rick Gardner, this is what he's putting out there. I'm good with it. If you don't want Kelly, that's fine. Don't vote for Kelly, but you can vote for me. Split your votes. I don't care. Now,
what?
Yes. This is the latest thing. People, this is craziness. And you know why? Because they don't want things exposed. What do they not want exposed? Look at how corrupt Rick Gardner is. He has removed all of his property taxes and his properties so you, the people, can't keep elected officials accountable for paying their taxes. That is wrong. The fact that he has taken that down is wrong. He has used some loophole to say, hey, you aren't allowed to see where my property is because you know what? I don't want you to check and garnish my wages ever again. Look at people's actions.
Okay, here we are. I had to get it open on a different level. Here we go. Here's what you're requesting.
So here's the primary results. So here's the primary results. It's a pretty sad turnout. I mean, and here's what and I want to point this out on this very first page to people. How many precincts does Madison County have? Some say 111.
Yeah, right.
Some say 112.
Is it 112? Is it 111?
Exactly. And I'm telling you right now, Lisa Rinker and Dr. Ackerman need to get that straight on the day of election.
Yeah.
They need to make sure, are there 222 votes or are there 224 votes?
Will the
because
real
right
number
here says we ran 112 precincts.
Will the real number of precincts please stand up?
Exactly. So are you guys following the corruption here? Because I'm being told there's 111 and being corrected, but this is why they don't want this stuff up for you people to see.
And listen, I want to be clear. This is the unofficial results. They need to have the official count up on that website.
If we don't get an organization that will run transparent, honest clerks and employ honest deputies in the department, this is going to continue. We are going to implode. We must remove them all. Yeah. Now, can Lisa Rinker do this? She can do it, but it's going to be a hard road to go. It's not going to be easy for her. It's going to be tough decision making. But I just want I want everyone here, when I keep saying you people, I feel like I'm beating my head against the wall sometimes.
Yeah.
So as we go through here and you see all the people who have won, and you start looking through all of this, I want to point out Kyle Pierce. Wait, go back. Kyle Pierce. Everybody know who Kyle Pierce is? He is your state representative for District 36. Let me tell you something. This is a man who ran a campaign, who is an attorney. He wants the community to be better and informed. We had a tea party with with all four leadership people at this tea party. Kyle has spoken at the tea party. No representation from Kyle Pierce there last night. Not only did he not show up, Senator Gaskell didn't show up.
Yeah.
Now, both of these people know all the corruption that's going on. Where are all these people at? Now, I give Rory a pass because she's never shown up at a tea party that I'm aware of. But yeah, I'm not real happy because these people are also precinct committeemen. They should have been there last night. How will they vote? I don't know, because now I'm starting to believe they're those people who shake your hand and say, I'll vote for you, and then go in and vote for somebody completely different. And here's the thing. The proof's going to be in the pudding, depending on who wins. If Lisa wins, then people like Kyle Pierce and Gaskell kept their word. If Lisa loses, you know how they voted.
But you know what though? I hope they vote for her. But if they do vote for her and she does win, and when she wins, and then they come around and they're like, oh yeah, you won. We knew you'd win. We knew you could do it. She won't do it because she's too nice. But I would tell those people to flip sand.
Well, and that's the thing. Like Cindy Poncha said, they all showed up when they were running.
Yeah, right. When they needed votes, when they wanted to make sure that you were going to vote for them, when they wanted to get their name out there, they showed up. They were there.
You know, I don't understand. If representatives can't be honest and say, we got a problem in Madison County, you guys really need to think about this in 26. You need to seriously think about this in 26, because this does not sit well with me at all. So
but listen,
I just want people to see.
It don't matter. It don't matter if people think about it. If nobody runs against Gaskell, if nobody runs against Pierce,
yes,
it don't matter. It
Absolutely,
don't matter.
People have to get involved. They have to put themselves out there.
Yeah.
So as we go down with this, I mean, if they can be so worried about making bills, they can show up for our own community. They've got to clean up their own backyard.
Yeah.
So here you go through, and here's my loss. Was a very close race, not a
You
big
loser.
deal, right? But we're going to go ahead and say 112 precincts. I cannot get this through people's heads more than that. That's a problem.
Yeah.
Because they say we have 111. And the reason why we're down to 111 is because that 112th precinct was a very small area. And the guy who was running, I think his name was Danny Zook, he never got beat because there was only like 2 people there. Well, Russ couldn't control his vote. So what did Russ do? He eliminated that precinct. Now, when you go, there's the out large. Oh, by the way, I want everybody to hear. There's some word and some background noise that Scott Green's going to come out all of a sudden and run for chair. And maybe Kelly might step down suddenly and then Green can take it. That will be interesting because if they do that switch or they put Green in one of those 4 seats, you will then know clearly that Green is running only for the cabal. I'm just telling you right now, if Green comes out in any 4 of those seats, you will know where he stands.
God.
This recycling of, people, I don't understand.
First of all, I am not a fan of having a chairman that is a current elected official. That should not stand.
Well, that's what I mean. There's enough people to go around and they keep recycling them everywhere and holding as many seats as they can hold them in. This is ridiculous. And you know what? Shame on the person. Shame on these people because they should have a level, especially at his level of education, that says this just isn't right. Government was not made to be controlled, all by the same people, all by the same thought process. And I'm sorry, people, I get it because you know what I heard from Kyle Pierce? All Kyle Pierce wants to know from who's running is, how are we going to take over the mayor's seat in Elwood because he's a Democrat? How are we going to take the mayor in the city of Anderson because he's a Democrat? Here's the thing.
That's what
we have a 2-party organization for a reason, and it's to keep us balanced. And that clearly, look at the entire world. We're not balanced. We're not balanced at all. And so, instead of Kyle Pierce saying, well, I just want to know how things are going to get better. I want to know what we're going to do to work. All he's worried about is, I just got to make sure everything's taken in Republicans. Come on, people.
Yeah.
I want Republicans to win too, but I want them to be good Republicans.
Yeah. Right. Absolutely.
So then we go through here, and this talks about the precinct, precincts that were won.
I'll come back. Okay.
Yeah, Stephanie Owens.
Remind me about the Tea Party when you're done with this.
Okay, Stephanie Owens, I believe she's been assigned to another. I have to go back and look. I don't know for sure, but I'll have to go back and look. I think she's been assigned to another area. If you go down here to, and here's the thing. If you have a next door precinct, I could see where you would assign somebody. But when you have people who live in one area and then you're assigning them all the way over,
yeah,
that's a problem, people.
Yeah.
Let me go, when we go down here, keep going. Okay, this Leroy Heath, he is a huge supporter of the cabal. Huge. He lost to Christy Grabowski. Now listen to this. Leroy Heath ran around the very next day after election, posting things on social media because Lisa Rinker and Devin Nork didn't have their signs down quick enough. And since they were losers, they should get it down. Is that anybody who should be representing the Republican Party? But no. What has happened? He's put Leroy Heath. He put him in a seat. He appointed him somewhere in the county to give him a vote. This is a problem. How is it that, if Christy Grabowski didn't pick her, the rules for her to put somebody as vice PC, they have to live in her precinct. That's the rules. And they have to be in good standing as a Republican. Now, can Russ sign off of it? Yeah, but he wouldn't do that for Christie because Christie's for the people.
Yeah,
and
right.
Russ doesn't want anybody in seats that are for the people. So, here, Leroy Heath, well, we can assign him anywhere we want in the county because, well, we have that loophole as the chair. This is how they stack the deck. And this isn't right.
No,
this
it's
isn't right
gross.
by any means. So Lisa Rinker and Dr. Ackerman, they need to win these seats for us. But it's going to come down to these PCs. We go over here to going down to 5-1. We've got Larry Savage won his seat, so he'll hopefully vote. I believe he will the right way. Carl Abel, huge supporter of the cabal. He ran with Green.
Yeah.
He was a big proponent. It's unfortunate that Tim lost his seat, but it was a close race, right? Evan McMillan lost. He is from Anderson 5-4. He is somewhere in the inner part of Anderson, not even close to where he lives. And look at this. But it's okay that he doesn't live over there because, well, they have a loophole and they can do anything they want. Now,
That's crazy.
I lost my seat, right? But why? Because I moved during this time period and I went back to lapel and I withdrew myself from the race. That's why I didn't go. So, I didn't even work on anything. Like I didn't go knock or ask any because I had moved and I did the right thing. I submitted the paperwork. I withdrew it. I went back to lapel and, life as it should be. So, that's the thing is.
Wait a minute. When did that happen?
That was in April. So, I was running a county race, so it's fine because I'm still in the county, but I took myself out of that PC area. I didn't promote myself. I didn't say anything, I didn't know that was going to happen. And so there it is. Right?
Yeah.
So then as we go down,
okay, let's go down.
Can go to Kelly Hewer won her seat. Heather Prophet is Gaskell's daughter. And yeah, Heather Prophet's Gaskell's daughter.
Yeah, that's right. I knew that.
So as you go down, can you get to the state reps part? Chloe Aganos, that's Kyle Pierce's wife.
Yeah. So how weird is that?
Yeah, I mean,
what's the point of that?
Yeah, I don't know, but I just
what they did is they stacked the deck, so one wins and they just flip flop.
Exactly. So other people will be intimidated not to run.
Yeah. That's ridiculous. Shame on you, Kyle Pierce, for playing that bullshit game.
Why not use his name? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Weirdness. All right, I gotta stop it here because I see Jody Norick. I gotta ask this: who's in charge of the Tea Party, setting the Tea Party up and doing the Tea Party stuff?
There's a group of people that are involved with that.
All right, I thought it was Ackerman.
No, he's there. There's like a board.
Okay. Well, whoever designed last night's meeting the way that it was ludicrous. They should have not put Jody up there with Lisa. That's just my own thoughts.
Hindsight, they might have figured that. I think they had other people lined up, and then somebody backed out. Then they didn't really because they do the schedule like a year in advance, I think, or 6 months. And then I think people backed out. Then Lisa decided to run. And here's the other thing I want people to know, and people think we should change the show to. Here's the thing. Kelly Hewer was offered to be on this show. Not show.
Yeah.
Well, she was offered to be on the show. She was offered to be on the show. She was offered to be at the Tea Party, and she declined.
Well, I don't know that she declined. She's just not responded.
Okay, for you, she didn't respond. To the Tea Party, she declined.
Oh, yeah.
She had other engagements and she couldn't make it. Now, if she can't make it for the people, so that we can see who she is and we can interview and talk with her. How accessible is she going to be for Madison County?
Look, she don't need to be accessible. All she needs to do is come around every 4 years and get reelected. That's what she thinks.
Well, and that's the other thing. They believe for some reason in Russ's small-minded head and in Kelly's, I'm not sure what head, they believe that they're the ones that have gotten all these Republicans nominated. Look at this report.
Yeah.
You know how many Republicans voted? You don't even have a chance if you're a Democrat in this county. You don't even have a chance.
Yeah.
It's not, Russ is not doing anything. He's just riding on the coat of everybody.
Yeah.
Dave Sargent, he won in his area. Shane Davis won in his area. Danny Gardner down in Fall Creek. Mike Gaskell won in his area. But you know what, Bob Fernandez? Good for you. You know, it's hard to beat a senator's name, but good. Somebody came out and ran. Yeah. I hope a lot of you will be putting in for precinct committeemen. It doesn't cost you any money.
Yeah.
But I hope a lot will start running for PCs. I hope to see, and the next time we have this, that we don't see anybody empty, that everything is elected.
Yeah. Now look at this.
This was a big one right here. This was a big one. And Darlene took 156 votes. Now, if you look at this, if these two people would not have run, Tracy Rhodes and Jason Turner, Beeman would have beat her.
That's the reason they ran.
Yeah, but Beeman would have beat her.
Yeah. Do you know these two people?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Now, Tracy, I think Tracy's not bad. She didn't understand everything that was going on. And I don't think she knew John or Jason, but Jason intentionally did don't even get me started on him. We're just going to pass on him.
Okay. I think I remember that name.
Yeah. Mo Hodge, he's another one. I believe he's been put somewhere. I don't know Mo. I don't know which side. When I read a lot of his posts, I think that he wants the right thing done. So hopefully he'll vote the right way. I don't know. He makes some decent posts. Chris Lutz has been a lifetime loyalist. She believes that the Lycans raised her and bred her into this. So I think we'll be clear on how she's going to vote. Maybe she's sick of their crap. I don't know. At one time, I believe they were supposed to have her as part of the reorganization team, and then Russ kind of did something, Bethany Keller, she's not on the PC list, but she ran. Good, that's a good thing.
That's crazy.
Adam Matson ran up in his area. That's the current coroner. Corey Bolander, he ran. So we've got a lot of great people on here that ran, and we had a lot of close races.
Yeah.
Laureen White won in her area, and that was there were 3 of them in that area.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool.
It's good to see, people are getting out there. Rodney Belangi ran against Larry Davis. We've had a lot of elected officials. We should share and let other people be involved. That was a tough one right there. It was 130, 137 in lapel between Dan Paddock and Stephen Wright. And people often forgot how Dan Paddock tried to screw over the people and contaminate their water.
Right.
It is what it is, right? Amanda Bergfield, that's a big one. Amanda Bergfield, she lost. And they've got her in another position across town as well. Sam Hanna, he's got his son as his vice PC, who's Andrew Hanna, who's the chief deputy prosecutor. You got Scott Green right there running against Billy Ingalls. Billy used to be the police chief, and
Chesterfield.
And then Scott. I mean, that's the thing. If we, the people, are recycling candidates too, shame on us.
Do you know Billy Ingalls?
Yeah, he's a good guy.
That's interesting.
Do you know him?
Yeah, I know Billy really well.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. Heather Prophet, she did win. And that's what's interesting to me. Okay. Heather lost as PC, but won as state delegate. That was interesting.
Yeah.
Because she took a lot of votes.
Yeah, it's like, that's weird because it's like she didn't need to win the PC race because the other person was in there. But she needed
Kelly
to win.
Hewer.
Yeah. Kelly Hewer needed to win. So Heather didn't, but here they did not want Marquess to win. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
So then we go, and this is what's even more interesting. I didn't see Russ Willis, but he won his seat after you know why we didn't see Russ Willis? I'll tell you why we didn't see Russ Willis. Because initially Russ was running against Jerry Alexander because they live by each other, and they made Jerry pull out. Well, here's the funny thing, people. Jerry is put in another precinct. So Russ made sure of that. But the reason why Russ couldn't pull out and he had to get elected is because if he lost this, if he loses the organization team, he can be removed by the new chair because he's not elected.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? This is all, it's all this inner workings. Well, no, go back up just a little bit. And I want to show you people this part. Nobody likes Russ. Okay? Nobody.
Yeah.
I don't even care who you are. But you have to vote for 11, right? Russ couldn't even get elected in his own delegate area when you can pick 11.
Yeah, that's really crazy.
And that's what really goes on at the end of the day. But yet he's got all this power. And here, the power's in the people. We have got to quit giving the power to people like Russ. So you get to see where the people came in as far as being state. Kyle Hupfer, he used to be the GOP for the state chair.
Yeah.
Right? Well, he, of course, gives all his loyalty to Russ because he believed he got all that way because Russ got him involved in politics and gave him that upper leg up to get it done. Well, Russ didn't give you anything. And now you have to give back with your soul and stay committed to Russ. I hope Kyle can vote the right way.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure that's going to happen. So I want to show you the next precinct area because this is where it gets even more sickening. So Russ can't win as a state delegate. Dina can't win as a state delegate, right? So those two are out of their area. You go to District 2. Well, you got Chloe, who's Kyle Pierce's wife. Ackerman wins big. Clearly, people like him. And you keep going down here. You got Rodney Cummings in there. You got Connie Gardner. You got all those people in there. And if you notice, people really vote on people on name recognition.
Oh,
and that's what we've got to quit doing.
1,000%.
Right? But look at Kelly Hewer. Look at her numbers, people. If Kelly Hewer can't get this done for herself and her husband, do you think she truly knows how to lead the people in order to get us nominated for the seats that we need as Republicans?
Yeah,
think about it. Now, that's the thing. You just got to think about all this stuff. And then as you go down to, let me tell you, so what they do. So as you see, as District 1 and District 2 were full, right? Well, District 3 didn't have enough people, so they don't even have it up here. They only had like 8 people. So it left like 5 seats open. Well, guess who got those seats? Kelly Hewer.
Yeah.
Pete Hewer. He put in all his favorites in those areas. And that's what I want you people to understand is that the current organization has to go, but in 26, we have to get somebody to run for clerk that believes in transparency, honesty, integrity, who will do the right thing. And a person who won't attack everybody. And that's what Linda does. Linda sits up there and by golly, she's going to attack you. She's not going to read what the laws are. She's going to call down to the state, whatever they say. And then she's going to say, well, I called the state and they said, this is what we can do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she's going to protect anybody in the cabal that she can. Listen, people, the word's already out on the street that if the cabal wins, they're running somebody against Linda. And I already know who the person is. And that in itself is laughable. So, you know, I want everybody to understand this is why the primary is not up here.
Yeah,
Linda
there's no
wants
question.
to protect the cabal because she wants to stay in their good graces. But for the love of God, we have to find out, do we have 111 or do we have 112? That's right, people. I believe we have 111. But you know what? Here's the answer, Chris. Well, nobody's ever questioned it before.
Right.
It's always been this way before.
Right.
We've done it for 50 years like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what this
that's
shows
the thing
you
I hate.
is that Russ can make it 112 precincts. He can make it 111 precincts. He can do whatever he wants. So can Kelly Hewer, all for their own benefit. This is wrong. And people need to speak up. So, you know, and here's the thing. I know they're all watching this. I don't really care what you think of me.
Yeah.
What I care about is that the people are better because we've educated the masses. That's what I care about.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
You know, and so that's the whole thing. I wish that they would have done some things a little differently with the Tea Party last night. They announced who they're going to run for treasurer, who is Nick Voorhees, and they've announced who they're going to run as secretary, which is Rob Trotter. I wish they would have put all 4 of them at the front of the room, and they would have all had that discussion.
Yeah.
And let us talk with them. And if some of you watched the show last night while I was doing it live at the Tea Party, this is the most important question that I don't know that we're ever going to get an answer to before March 1. Pete Hewer has held many seats in Madison County as an elected official, but was never elected. He was always caucused in. During this time period, Russ Willis was the chair and Kelly was always the secretary. She's been with Russ since 2013. She professes how Russ has mentored her, that she promises the people that she will carry on with Russ's ways, culture, behavior. And my question is to everybody, if you keep electing Kelly, and it's just weird that Russ's daughter's name's Kelly. I want to call her Kelly Hewer Willis is what I want to call her.
Yeah.
You know, if you keep electing her, how many times will she be recycling her husband and filling caucus seats because he needs 18 more months to pull a retirement from the county? Because if you hold two full terms, like 2 full terms, which is 8 years, or a total of 10 years, you can get a retirement for this stuff.
Yeah, that's so gross.
I cannot plead with Madison County enough. Talk to your PCs, talk to your vice PCs, and tell them, I'm going to know if you lied to me if Kelly Hewer wins. And I'm going to come knocking on your door if she wins. And this is just the reality of it. The reality is Rick Gardner should not win. You know why? Because at some point we have to get an organization team on there that says, Rick, you got to put your property taxes back up for the people to see, because we're not going to have anybody in the Republican Party who's not paying their taxes and hiding from the people.
Yeah.
So
at some point, transparency needs to be a thing.
It is. And so these are all the things that I want to show you, just the corruption that's constantly going on. Maybe if people actually truly invested in stopping the behavior at that courthouse, people would quit coming and telling the truth. I mean, they're all mad at us. All you people who are writing on this thread, they're pissed off at you. How dare you people speak out? How dare you people have a voice? What is wrong with you people? And that's the whole problem with a lot of this. And for those of you that are not in the know and are just like me, just one of the peasants on the side of the street, I don't know if you have seen this. I'm going to send you this.
Okay.
This is very interesting. Let me see here. Hold on a second. I better crop this a little bit. I don't want to give anybody away. Okay. So if anybody thinks that Kelly Hewer is different than Russ Willis, you've lost your mind. And the reason why I say that is because early on, Kelly Hewer took it upon herself to send out this letter. She took it upon herself to send out this letter to a select group of people. Okay. And then fast forward a couple of weeks, like now, when they had to finally send out the letter announcing the caucus, she then sent it out to everybody. So she did the same shenanigans as Russ. It was no different.
Sure. Yeah. My vast experience in grassroots organizing, political fundraising, event planning, and relationship building makes me the most qualified candidate for chairwoman of Madison County Republican Party. And I ask for your vote on Saturday.
I don't know what she's ever fundraised. I don't know whatever she's done to build relationships, because I'm going to tell you something right now. When we were running in 2020, Kelly did everything in her power to suppress us and keep us down. Kelly would not let us put information on their Republican page. She was all about the other candidate that was a Republican. She promoted, her group of Republicans. That's who she signed off on. She knew good and well that Russ was writing a negative flyer against Republicans that was false, and she did nothing to stop it. She is not a good person, people.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you that she's got to go. She is just as bad as Russ, just wearing a skirt. Now, what's even more interesting is when you look at the back page of this.
Okay. You got that too?
I sent it to you, the second side of the picture.
For those that don't see, it says about Kelly, precinct committee person, Anderson 5-6, 2008 present, Indiana State Republican Party Convention delegate, 08, 12, 16, 18, 20, 22, and 24, vice chairwoman, Madison County Republican Party, 2021 to present, secretary, 5th Congressional District, Indiana State Republican Party, 2021 to present, past president and board member of the Madison County Women Republican Club, 2021 to present, secretary, Madison County Republican Party, 2013 to 2021, Women of the Year Award recipient, Madison County Women's Republican Club, 2021, president, Madison County Women's Republican Club, 2018 to 2020, Indiana Federation of Republican Women, District 5 honoree 2020. Ball State University Brown Institute for Political Participation, graduate 2019. Richard G. Lugar Excellence in Public Service Series, graduate in 2017. 20-year career, finance and healthcare, government, and Veterans Affairs contracts. Veterans Affairs contracts. Bachelor's degree in liberal arts from Indiana University, Purdue University, Indianapolis. Married to husband Pete Hewer for 21 years. Proud aunt to a niece and 2 nephews.
But
Kelly.
what's the most important part to this whole back page?
I would think the disclaimer.
That is exactly right. Can
Paid
everybody
for
see the
not by
disclaimer
her-
on this?
Paid for not by herself. Wait a minute. Didn't she put out a statement or something?
Oh, the other pink page,
Yeah.
that was put out by Russ.
No, I know, but didn't she put out a statement saying that she was paying for all of this herself somewhere?
Yeah, that's what that back page says.
No, the back page says it was personally paid for by Kelly Hewer, not the Madison County Republican Party. Okay, sorry. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's what it says. Sorry, I was asleep on that.
Well,
I
here's
thought it
the
was saying
thing.
paid for by the party.
I would hope that she paid for this one since the Republican Party paid for her pink one.
Yeah, right.
So
Yeah,
see how Kelly slid in that
Yeah.
she got to double dip in
Yeah.
a roundabout kind of way. Listen, people, if Russ is backing somebody, it's the kiss of death. Don't vote for him. You know, Russ, if you want me to lose so bad, just say I support Katherine and let it go from there. I'm
Yeah.
just saying. You
Yeah.
know, so I just want everybody to understand that corruption begins and ends in your elected clerk's office as well. When we no longer have transparent elections, when we can no longer go back and look at statistics and go back and look at reports, and you have to go through all these loopholes to see something that should be public and that we know is public, that shows you what you're working with and the kind of people you're working with, the lack of integrity and you're working with. And here's the thing. Are they allowed to live across town or across the county and be appointed to other seats? Yes. Is it ethically and morally correct? I don't think so. Is it illegal? Unfortunately, it is not. Right? And that's just the way it is. So I want everybody to be aware that you have people that you might live in a precinct that has no idea that what's going on in your precinct and really is going to do nothing to help you fix that situation.
Yeah.
You need to have somebody. So I do hope that Lisa and John win. I hope that we begin to see the open seats that are there, that we get people who live in those communities. I'm sure if you go out and knock on a few doors, there's Republicans who want to get involved. They just don't know how to.
Sure.
Absolutely. And I hope anybody who's on this thread, whether you're a Democrat or Republican, in 26, if there are PC seats or state delegate seats to be ran for, I hope every single one of you put your name in.
Yeah.
I really do. I hope that's how much this empowers. There's 40 people watching here. If you don't live in this state, do it in your own.
Yeah, absolutely.
So those are the kind of things. And then there's just one last thing I would like to bring up that I sent. I didn't post last night. Actually, somebody else posted it, and I thank them for that. And so I want to put this last thing up, and then I'll let everybody go, enjoy, and have a great weekend. And I'll sit over here and stumble onto things. Well, there's actually two things I want to show you. I'll let everybody look at this. And this I had read in the paper. And
you sent me something. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's in Messenger. This is a notice to the taxpayers on a hearing on a proposed cumulative bridge fund.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I want to remind everybody, as I was running for auditor, that I said what the elected officials that people have elected after I had lost was they are going to max the tax in Madison County everywhere they can.
Yeah.
Well, here you go. That's what they're going to do with this bridge fund.
Yeah, this cum bridge is
okay. Look at our
deal.
Bridges. People, you need to start asking and looking at your infrastructure. I don't see them working on anything. So where is the money going? Where is it going? And so, but what I really want you to pay attention to, if there could just be 3 people on this thread tonight, 3 people in Madison County, if you could just do this whole part, maybe Chris, you can explain to them how this works, because the 10% is the max for the tax. They can't go any higher than that. They wanted to 2 years ago, but they didn't take it all the way.
Yeah.
But here it says, within 30 days after the date of the adoption of the cumulative fund by the Madison County Board of Commissioners, who is that? John Richwine. And who else? Do I hear it? Yes, Rick Gardner, who doesn't pay his own property taxes.
Yeah.
Right? We'll publish a notice of adoption. Upon publication, the notice of adoption, 25 or more taxpayers in the taxing district may file a petition with the county auditor no later than noon, 30 days after the publication of the notice of adoption, setting forth their objection to the proposed fund dated this 18th day of February. If I could get 4 people who would run with their own petition and get 25 people different on each of those petitions and have all 104 of you show up in that council meeting and push back, maybe our taxes for the bridge funds won't get raised. Because what I'd like all of you to show up and say is, wait a minute, why don't you give us an itemized receipts of where all the money has already gone, because you just raised our taxes 2 years ago for this.
Yeah.
And then they go, well, it doesn't really raise your taxes. That's what they say, Chris. This doesn't really raise one's taxes. Well, if it didn't raise our taxes, people, they wouldn't have to put it as a public notice. Come on. You know? So this is the whole thing is elections have consequences. John won, beat Lisa by 90. Let's not get it wrong twice. Let's get Lisa in there, because clearly the point's been proven. You know, you keep recycling these people. So John Richwine's hand in the cookie jar again. Richwine seeks to raise the cumulative bridge fund rate once again. Why? Property taxes are capped. That's why. There's only so much money collected by the county. The increase will not raise your property taxes yet. This increase will remove funds from the control of the Madison County Council, dumping them straight into Richwine's control. This year's budget had to be slashed by the council. Richwine's actions would exasperate the issue next year. When will the council stand up to Richwine? Richwine raises the cumulative bridge fund rate at every opportunity, often raising it the maximum allowed by statute. This action will directly impact the amount of money the council has oversight and control over. It's time our council takes a hardline stand against the commissioners. For years, Richwine has mismanaged the executive office. The commissioners have by far the largest budget. The council should stop funding Richwine's incompetence. I also want the people to understand what Rich Wine does, because I've been now watching it for 4 years. Rich Wine gets all this money, and he says he's got to pay it to the health fund and to pay for insurance for the county employees. What Rich Wine does is he begins to move money out of there throughout the year, and he moves it to his projects. And he comes in and he says, hey, I want to do this transfer. And he's always taking it from the line item, but nobody's really asking what line item he's taking it from. Well, he's taking it from the huge health fund slush. Okay.
Right.
And then what he does is he comes back at the end of the year and he says, hey, I'm going to be short $500,000 and I'm not going to be able to pay people's health insurance. Well, who's going to say no to that? Nobody. So people, you got to start paying attention to where they're siphoning off money. And then you know what you got to do? You got to ask where it's going. Madison County should have a standing room only at council meetings. And why? Because you should be saying, tell me what other services and charges mean. We're seeing hundreds of thousands of dollars a month in other services and charges, and nobody seems to care about that. You're giving these people these blank checks? What is wrong with you? Would you go and just give your college kid a blank check up at college and say, have a great year? I don't think so. At some point, you people, I mean, I'm there, but I say this lovingly, have to show up, and you have to say, did Tom Eckert just say he has a bunch of bills that he has to pay, and that's why he needs this money? That is a misappropriation of funds. He's not living within the money he's been allotted. Is that what you guys do when your kids go off to college and you say, hey, I'm giving you an allowance of $400 a month, and they keep coming back and say, yeah, I know you gave me $400, but then I went to Pizza Hut and I went to the bars, and now, I'm over by $1,000. Can you just put money over there? Or do you say, learn to live within your means?
Yeah.
It is up to the people. The power has always been in the people, but you got to exercise it.
Yes.
And when I say this, I just want to show you guys something that I stumbled on. Can you bring up the employee compensation for Madison County for 2024?
You have it?
Do I have it?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I have it.
I mean, did you send it to me?
Well, no, but I can send it to you.
Oh, I thought you're saying it's I thought you're saying it's something that you sent to me.
Okay, so you can pull it up. I just sent it to you. I want to show everybody something, and I want people to answer this. Is there anybody on here that believes I'm a coroner at this time in my life? I believe we went through a caucus.
No.
I believe that Katherine has not been a coroner since 2022. Okay? This is a true statement. So if any of you don't know me, I used to be the chief deputy coroner in Madison County. That's how I got involved in all this. Okay, I didn't, once you get screwed over like that. So did you bring up the employee compensation for Madison County?
I'm getting it right
now. This tool is open for any of you. I encourage all of you to use this tool. I encourage any of you to look through this tool. It's a very fascinating tool.
Yeah, Indiana Gateway is amazing.
And you would go back, bring up 2024. If some of you would use this and you would go back and look at Rick Gardner's salary when he became auditor until when he left, you would actually be like, who gets that kind of raise? Now, look at this document. So once you go back up to the top, Chris, you can look at any county you want. You guys just have to change this.
Yeah,
right? We've chosen Madison County. You can change whatever county you're in.
All 92 counties.
We picked 2024. We picked Madison County. Okay. Then you scroll down a little bit. As you look at this red bar, if you want to look at employees, you can. It'll go in alphabetical order. You can also use that type bar up at the top where it says find or next. You can put people's name in it. Now, If you hit department, so hit the department where the arrows, just hit the department with the arrows. It will put it by department.
Yep.
Go look at the coroner's office on departments. Just scroll down. I mean, just flip the page where it says number 1 up there at the top, 1 to 21.
Yeah.
You can just go to the next page, and the next page, it won't be very. Hit that arrow.
Yeah.
Take you to the next page.
Whoop.
Go back one.
Back here. Oop,
And
back 2.
I went to look up Heather and Linda Smith's salaries. This is the thing. The more they throw at me, they force me. Right? Look, Katherine Callahan's on here for 2024. She's the chief deputy. I didn't know I was the chief deputy in the county in 2024.
Making $16,250. So who's making this money?
Right? So this is what people...
No, we need to find this shit out.
I know the answer to that, but...
Oh.
I want you people... I mean, let's look at the commissioners here. The commissioners have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 employees. With 5 employees, they got... Look at their secretary, Tom. He makes more than they do. But look at how much of a salary the commissioner's office takes.
Yeah.
It's quite a lot. They have 2 secretaries, right? But I just want, look at the clerk's office. Scroll up. Look at how many people the clerk's office employs. Let me tell you something about Madison County. It has turned into an employment agency rather than a place where you are employed to do a good job.
Yeah, right. Right.
I mean, this is what I want the people to see. This is what I want you all to know. And this is how worthless your auditor's office is at keeping records. People, you got to ask, where is all the money going and how is it being recorded? Look at the clerk, $67,000.
For the piss poor job that she does.
Okay. Oh, you want me to show you some crap? Okay, here's the thing. Go back up to the red part. You see where it says compensation? Hit compensation.
Yep.
So you can go lowest. Let's go to highest.
Here's the highest.
And most places your sheriff's going to be your highest, okay?
Sure, yeah.
But look at this is where your money's going. You guys all listen to Jessica Bastine. Where's she at? Right there. Look at her. Highway engineer, $105,948. And in this county, you are driving around potholes like it's a nightmare. So that's
wow.
This is a good way to look at your money and how it's being used. You know, no wonder Brian Williams gives all kinds of advice to Russ Willis. My God, he's got a vested interest. He's the third highest paid person in Madison County.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy.
You know, this is the stuff we need to be involved in. We need to be looking at, right?
Yeah.
So now go to employees and let's look at employees again.
Man,
and let's start with A.
89,000. That's really crazy. Look, going where?
Go to employees. Now you got Angie Abel here. Okay, 65,000. Okay, she's elected. Now go to 2023. What was she making? $61,000.
Yeah.
Okay. And what did I say the other one was?
Oh shit.
65,000.
61 and 23. 61 and 23. Let's take a look at this.
And she's at 65. But wait for 2025 because she asked for a $17,000 raise last year and she was given it this year.
Wow.
So you're going to see a huge in 2025.
Holy
These are the things
shit.
that you have to watch and you have to pay attention to. I just cannot stress this to any of you enough. Go in here, look at people's salaries. They're giving the salary raises, but not to the right people.
Yeah, that's
so.
Phew.
I encourage people, if you didn't know that existed, it exists. Go look at stuff. Go look at salaries. It's pretty impressive. I just can't express to everybody how much I'm thankful that you would be on here on a Friday night and listen to me. It's been nice to see. It's a good group of people on here tonight. Everybody's been very active.
Russ making 50,000, but why doesn't it's not showing him making any money from election board or anything?
Oh, that's what I mean. But Russ took quite a raise too. So is this 2024?
Yeah.
See what he made in 2021. And you can just do it by last names.
Yeah, that's what I did.
So see, he was at 37. He's all the way up to 50,000. I mean, these people and that bump was like, I forget which year it was. He might have been making that in 2022 as well. It was a one bump in 1 year. I mean, and it was just because we had more gas stations and he felt like he should do that. But if you run around, if you're in Madison County and you're looking at pumps, I encourage you to take pictures of the pumps there because they're all with Russ Willis. A lot of times they're out of date.
Yeah.
And I encourage you to publish it on social media showing that Russ doesn't really do his job.
Right.
But that's another one where you'll see Russ has just climbed. He goes in, he wants his raise, he gets whatever he wants. And this is how it's done. So we need to ask where the money's going. And whether you're a Democrat or you're a Republican on this page, in Madison County, there's a whole lot of waste that could be going back to the people. And okay, this is the very last thing I'm going to do. I promise. I know everybody. I do want to read this article. I kind of want to know what everybody's take on this is. Chris has kind of posted about it, and I posted you a response.
What?
Let me send this to you. And there's a column in the Herald Bulletin, and it's like a point of view. And it's our view. And so I know this has kind of been an interesting topic.
All right, let me jump to where you're talking about. I posted about this. Oh, yeah.
But I wanted you to hear this our view, and I'd like to hear what the people think about this.
I didn't actually get to read this, so this will be good because okay.
I like to put you on the spot when I can.
Yeah, that's good. So you guys won't be able to see this, but very well. But I'll read this to you. So let me do this instead. Bulletin, because I told you that I broke down and bought it, right?
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Let me do away with this.
This is an interesting topic, because I'm just not happy with Madison County and the way that they've handled things. And so I have a different take on this because I don't feel like the prosecutors are really upholding everyone's best interest and that they're picking and choosing. And I don't believe that's how anything should be done. Things should be done in a fair manner.
I agree, but you know what the answer is to that? Voting. You have
Well,
to
we
have
got to get somebody to run against
Well,
them
that's
as well. Absolutely.
number one. That's a problem. That's the
Absolutely.
first problem. Okay, so here's this. For those of you that don't know, we'll back up because maybe people are not aware of this. So let's back up real quick first. The Indiana State House just passed through. The state representatives passed through. It's now going to the Senate. We talked about this way back a couple weeks ago. It's House Bill 1006, and it does a couple different things. It gives a fund to public defenders. It makes a special prosecutor like task group, giving them like when a special prosecutor needs like law clerks and investigators, it gives them the ability to have help with that or be able to have funding for that. But one of the things that it does is, and I'm going to tell you why they put this in place. This is simply to deal with Ryan Mears in Marion County. And I do not like Ryan Mears. Ryan Mears is a liberal, crazy, left-wing, lunatic prosecutor. Crime is out of control in Marion County. Marion County is not a safe place to go. Downtown is a disaster. I do not like Ryan Mears, and I wish the people of Marion County would unelect him as soon as possible. I want to say this, though. The reason I do not like Ryan Mears has nothing to do with the fact that he does not prosecute all marijuana cases. When he first came in, he said, I am not going to waste time prosecuting low-level cannabis charges. Not going to do it. Don't waste your time arresting them. You can arrest them all you want, take them to jail, waste your time, waste their time, ruin their night, whatever. We are not going to charge them. He said, we'll look at all cases, case by case basis. But if it's just a person's driving down the road, you pulled them over for speed and they've got a little bit of weed on them, we're not doing it. And I like that. I like that because I am not a smoker, wouldn't be a smoker. If they legalize it tomorrow, I'm not going to go smoke. I know a lot of people that do, don't care that they do, don't have a problem. I think that they need to legalize it for many, many, many reasons. I think they need to legalize medical, and I think they need to legalize recreational. But I don't like Ryan Mears for a lot of other reasons. They are totally upset with him, and what they want to do is they want to force his discretion. In law enforcement, you have discretion. Discretion is probably your most important tool besides your gun or your badge or your handcuffs. It's very important, okay? I am not for taking away law enforcement officers' discretion. That is not a good thing. And so I was mad. I contacted state representatives about this bill. They passed it. I'm going to contact senators. It's a bullshit bill, and so I'm not in favor of it because, again, I've been a police officer for a number of years. I worked as a patrolman. I worked as an investigator. I worked sex crimes investigations. I worked general felony crimes investigations, and I worked narcotics. Okay, I worked closely with the prosecutor's office. Left the police department, and I worked as an investigator in the Delaware County Prosecutor's Office, and I just don't, I'm not for this. So I wrote an article, what she's referencing, on Facebook yesterday or today, 17 hours ago, I guess I wrote it. I just said, this Indiana House Bill 1006 is completely ignorant. Our elected prosecutors need discretion to effectively do the tough jobs we have elected them to do. Just one more attempt by the Indiana General Assembly crackpots to take away local control. They are obsessed with this crap. After the break, the state Senate needs to quickly kill this ignorance and be done with it. Delaware County, Indiana does not need the goofballs in Indianapolis making decisions for us. The state representatives involved with this nonsense are Chris Jeter, Greg Sturwald, Andrew Ireland, Wendy McNamara, and the state senators involved with the nonsense, and they are the ones that sponsored it, are none other than Aaron Freeman, who I was talking about earlier with Luke Britt, and Cindy Carrasco. And then I posted the article from the Capitol Chronicle, and I posted it and all that. And basically the synopsis of the bill is: prosecutors establish special prosecutor unit, prosecutor review board, and public prosecution fund establishes guidelines and standards for service under which counties may be eligible for reimbursement for prosecution expenditures, makes conforming changes. And the prosecution review board says that they're going to, if there's a prosecutor that doesn't prosecute a case, they can be up and be reviewed, and their discretion can be taken away. So I posted that. And then Katherine shared this article that was in the Herald Bulletin.
And I also posted it on as a comment on Chris's, so people can have it. But I'd like to see what people think about this editorial.
Yeah, let's read this. So this is the editorial board. I would like to know who wrote this.
I think it says it at the bottom. I think. I'm not sure.
Okay. A bill under consideration in the Indiana General Assembly would tie state funding for county deputy prosecutors to compliance with legislator expectations for criminal prosecutions. Supporters of House Bill 1006 point out that state funding would be wasted on prosecutors who want to pick and choose what sorts of criminal cases to pursue. Opponents say the bill would undermine the discretion of county prosecutors to use resources as they see fit. Opponents also claim the bill is an explicit attempt to target Marion County Prosecutor Ryan Mears. There is some logic in both arguments, though it's hardly ever advisable to establish a law that is meant to rebuke or redirect an elected official rather than to promote sound public policy. In Mears' case, partisan politics stokes the controversy. He's a Democrat, and Republicans hold the supermajority of the legislature. He became a political target when he announced in 2019 that his office would not prosecute low-level cases of marijuana possession. 3 years later, before the special legislative session in 2022, Mears said he would decline to prosecute abortion cases if new state law was written to forbid the procedure. While some Democrats say House Bill 1006 clearly targets Mears, it's backed by the Indiana Prosecuting Attorneys Council and does have some Democratic support. The bill would designate funding to help counties pay for deputy prosecutors and would also create a review board composed of 5 members of the prosecuting council to investigate complaints of non-compliance. A prosecutor's office would be denied 1006 funding if the board finds the prosecutor non-compliant in enforcing state laws. We try not to touch we try not to touch prosecutorial discretion while trying to touch prosecutorial discretion. We try not to touch prosecutorial discretion, but at the end of the day, these are state dollars. Bill author Chris Jeter of Fishers told Indy Star in early February. I think that it's appropriate for us to outline sorts of conditions, can condition them on our expectations. And these are our laws that we want enforced. The last sentence of Jeter's quote makes it clear that legislators themselves want to identify which sorts of crimes should be aggressively prosecuted. That's one troubling aspect of the bill, which is under consideration on the House floor. State representatives should take a long, hard look at this one, given the validity of arguments both for and against.
Now, that what you don't see is, so if you bring up this picture I sent you in Facebook, they took a poll. And so the poll was asked, and then today they put the results out about what people thought about this. And I was actually intrigued by how close the yes and no was. So the yellow is the question, but if you go to the next page, it'll have the question and then the poll results.
I want to come in here and take a look at what this says here real quick. So hold on. It's okay. Here we go. So the new poll question is, did you say the next page has it? Okay, let me get this. Okay, here we go. New poll question. Which answer best describes your thoughts about the efforts in the United States to help endangered species?
No, read the online poll results. So that's the actual results.
Oh,
so
Jesus.
The question yesterday was just in the bottom half wasn't there.
So, legislation that would deny funding for deputy prosecutors. Yeah, I was like, what in the hell am I reading here? If a local prosecutor's office isn't aggressively enforcing laws to the satisfaction of the Indiana legislator, yes, 43, they would support it. 47, no, and 10, not sure. And I would say that's a pretty fair split. It was pretty close. I mean, what I want to caution you on here on this is I get where you're going with this because you're upset about what Rodney's doing. But this law does not say force them to prosecute cases that the public wants. This is leaving it in the legislator's hands. And we all know, look at what Kyle Pierce does. We all know they don't help anybody. So it's not forcing them to do the public.
And that's the difference. We don't have a prosecutor's office that's for the people in Madison County. When you see that the GOP was found guilty of election crimes but faces no consequences, what do we have in the prosecutor's office? But we see the prosecutor's office going along with shenanigans from Russ Willis and the election board.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that's where the problem begins, where it's interesting to see how people will view that question. Because depending on what's going on, you may answer it a different way. You like your prosecutor. I never had a problem with our prosecutor's office until I watched the blatant smack in your face. Russ can commit election crimes, and we're going to stand here and give him the prosecutor who's going to allow that.
Sure.
Even
if we had
Jamie
another
Lynn's
prosecutor,
another example.
Sure. Even if we had another prosecutor, or even when I'm thinking about Rodney, and I've not liked Rodney for a long time. Say we've never met. I've not liked Rodney long before you and I met. Just being in the business, I've known Rodney. He's been sleazy. I've not liked him. That being said, and this is what sucks about this is he does a pretty good job when we're talking about the random day-to-day drugs or murder or this or that. And that being said, I would still not want the state to take discretion from the office away. I think the way that Rodney has to be dealt with is Laureen needs to run and we need to beat his ass in the election.
Well, somebody needs to run.
Yeah.
We need an attorney to run.
Yeah.
We need somebody to run. Something has to change for the people of Madison County, because here's what we know in Madison County. If you speak the truth, if you push back, if you expose, they will hunt you.
Yes.
And they will hunt you even if they have to make crap up. They will hunt you. They will intimidate you. They will bully you. They will use their people in powerful places to intimidate you and attack you and come after you. And if they can't get to you, they'll go after your family. People have asked Dr. Wright to get rid of me. And when he was like, I can't get rid of her, she's the one that owns the practice. What did they do? After 17 dedicated years at the health department, they got rid of him.
Yeah.
Because that's how it works in Madison County. It's so corrupt.
Yeah.
Well, it's got to stop. And where that stops is March 1st. That is the beginning. That is our first step. We get out Kelly Hewer. We get out Rick Gardner. Those people must go. Russ has to lose his power hold over the county.
Period.
Once that dark cloud, once that evilness goes, the light will shine.
Yes.
And the people will once again breathe fresh air.
Yeah.
And the other cards will begin to crumble.
Yeah. It will be easy to then do what needs to be done at that point. But
and
he's
people
got
will
such a
begin
stranglehold.
to turn on each other and tell the truth, because they will begin to see it's the only way out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that, I know we've been very chatty tonight, but I'm grateful for everybody who's stayed on with us tonight.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've covered a lot of information, and I'm very thankful for Chris
Fadley.
For coming on. Fadley. I think he pronounces it Fadley. For coming on. That's crazy information. I've got some things I'm going to do to try to help him out there, and I appreciate man, I always forget how I say the name.
And Bad Cop, I just want to say something about Bad Cop. And I want to just call him out to everybody who's watching this show. What he has posted there is it. What you allow is what will continue.
Yeah.
And there's no better way to say it than that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What fact about police? Am I waiting on you to?
No, I just wanted everybody to see what he.
No, I know. I'm just saying. Is there? I think he's. There's a part 2 to this sentence we're waiting on. The only thing that clouds
that's Stumblefoot
laws is the creation of laws on top of it. Yeah, that's exactly true. Well, and you can see that just in looking at what the 124th session of the Indiana General Assembly has done just this year. I need to look back to that. I need to look back, and I'm going to count how many out of the, I forget how many I said there were, maybe 1207 or something like that. Out of all of the bills they put forward, I'm going to see actually how many went forward, and it's like minuscule. It's ridiculous. So yeah, I don't like that.
Well, here's Bad Cop
says the origins of modern day policing can be traced back to slave patrol. The earliest formal slave patrol was created in the Carolinas in the early yada yada. Yeah, that's something that's been around for years, and there's probably partially truth to that and some not. I mean, there's all sorts of things about the Shire of the Reeve tracing back to England, about how sheriff being a constitutional office, yada yada yada, and
how the coroner was the one who went and collected taxes. And
yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
My dad, who has been gone since 2016, my dad used to say something all the time before I became a police officer, while I was a police officer afterwards. My dad always said that the problem with law enforcement is when police officers went from being peacekeepers to being tax collectors. And there is a whole lot of truth in that. Talking about going back and forth on discretion and things like that. I really like in that one committee meeting when that one state representative, who happens to be he is a police officer, he kept asking the people that were getting up. It was over I think it was over the property situation over 1628. Over local control issue. He kept asking them about the Dred Scott case. What do you know of the Dred Scott case? Do you know, can you tell us about the Dred Scott case? And then at the end, they got mad at him. Someone was like, hey, move along. He said, listen, I'll tie it together. But what he said was rightfully so. The Dred Scott case was a situation in which it was the 3/5 of a human. A slave was 3/5 of a person. And the United States Supreme Court actually ruled in favor of that. And so what that meant was the law of the land was that slaves were not people. And if you broke that law, you were breaking that law. But today, we look at the people who broke that law as being the good guys, and the people who enforce that law as being closed-minded and ignorant, and yada, yada, yada. So, I look back to when I was a police officer, when I was first in patrol, and I was working hard to get into, I always wanted to get into narcotics. And I remember getting like so jazzed up when I would pull somebody over and would have, less than an ounce of marijuana. I would have somebody that would have a dime bag, and I'd be like, hell yeah, Now, I never hardly ever jailed those people, but I would do an arrest and release. I would give them a ticket. And I remember hearing my dad say that at one point after doing that. I'm thinking, he's exactly right. What I'm doing is I'm a tax collector. I'm taking these people's plans.
Listen, Stumblefoot called you out already. He said Kristopher once wore his mercenary outfit.
Yes.
Right? I mean, they're over here. So yes, Stumblefoot just called you out.
I love it. No, yeah, that's right. But I'm like, I used to take this marijuana and give this person a piece of paper where they would then have to go to the courts and pay, $500 in fines and all this bullshit. And my dad was right. I was a tax collector. And that he was so right. When law enforcement went from being a peacekeeping operation to being a tax, it's all about money, right?
It is
all about money. It's all
just
about
all the money.
So, yeah, I do not regret my policing days. I regret the actions of my policing days.
Well, Stumblefoot just told you were being unconstitutional.
Yeah, absolutely. I loved being a police officer. It was a fantastic job. My youngest brother, the brother that's closest to me in age, he's 3 years younger than me. He's in the Navy, and he's in Italy right now, serving. My youngest brother, who's in his 20s, we're long distance between us age-wise. He's currently in law enforcement. I'm not going to say where, but he's going through and currently becoming a police officer. And it's the best job in the world if you do it right. And it can be done right. And if you have a cop who is constitutionally minded and is doing the right thing, they can make a world of difference. And we need good, well-trained police officers to do.
And we need good, honest prosecutors.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That's very true. Yep. That is very, 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 very true. Well, Katherine, thank you as always for coming on and chatting with us. And it's Friday, so that means we are just about 15 minutes away from it being Saturday. And that means we will be one week away from
the big dance,
the big day. And here's the thing. It's going to be big everywhere. Marion County's, everybody's doing it on the 1st. Marion County, Madison County, Delaware County, Henry County.
Just don't reproduce on the 1st. Meaning don't reelect these morons.
Yes.
Quit recycling them.
We do not want to recycle. We do not want to recycle nonsense. So, Katherine, I'm sure we'll be back next week. We are off tomorrow. Tomorrow is Saturday, so we will be off tomorrow. Thank you all for being here, watching, listening, and engaging. Please share the show with everyone you know. Don't forget to click that like button if you can before you leave. If you haven't, share the show, spread the word. Let's get the message out and help Chris spread the message about the evil INDOT putting this roundabout in. We've got a lot of Muncie stuff coming up next week. I got a lot of stuff that I'm working on about things that are currently going on in Delaware County, some stuff about the Delaware County Republicans organizational vote, stuff going on in the city of Muncie, stuff going on with Dustin, still waiting on records, still waiting on that check. And of course, I'm sure Katherine will be back with us next week. Next week, we are going to do a show. I think we ought to do a show on Friday night, and then we need to do a show on Saturday.
I'm in.
And we can go over who won it everywhere.
Well, and here's the thing: we could do ideally a show early on Saturday, or would you guys rather do it at 9:00 on Saturday night? We could bring it to you after in the mid-afternoon and tell you what happened. I don't know. We can think about that later.
We'll talk to the people, everybody next week, and we can find out if you want to do it at the same time or earlier. We can work on that. But yeah,
okay. I mean, I don't care.
So yeah, it's good with me. All right, thank you all very much, Katherine. Real quick, I'll be right back with you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you guys have a good rest of your evening. Take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful weekend. If you're at work, that sucks for you, but take care. If you're on the weekend, then relax, and we won't see each other tomorrow. We will see you back here Sunday at 9 p.m. God bless each and every one of you. Take care, and I'm really happy about some of the newer watchers that are watching and staying involved in the chat. Like I always forget the name. And if I'm not looking at it, I can't see it. Cliff, whatever. Cliff, whatever. I gotta look at it. Kiff 76. Kiff 76. I think I'm saying it right. But thank you guys for staying around, and we'll see you Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Take care. God bless. Good evening. Good night. And we will see you all later. Goodbye.